But what he's doing is he's framing the client the entire time. He's framing them to believe and have a certain perception, because his perception is that you're the best company with the lowest rates, who's always booked up, and so we got to make sure we get in now. He's framing the entire time. It's a really, really, really good call. Now, what were a couple of things? Was anyone else want to add anything good? This was a good call.
Mm-hmm.
What are a couple of things we could have changed?
There's lots of There's a lot of downtime.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of calls there where I don't know if he was distracted working another quote at the same time. He always regained it back and got right back into it, but it seemed like there was a lot of
dead space.
Yeah.
That was the same thing I noted. I put he could have controlled the conversation a little sooner. I felt like in the beginning, I think it can be powerful to say, hey, how can I help you? Tell me what you got going on. But I don't think you should wait too long, because she started talking in circles, because you could tell she didn't really know what information she was needing to give him.
Yes.
So like, take control of that. He knows what information he needs. So maybe, hey, how can I help you? Small move, great. Yeah, let me get you started and like take control a little bit sooner.
Yeah, and the cool thing is he recognized it, and he was like, okay, wait a second, like this is about to go way too far, because she's just gonna keep running. So it was good that he recognized it still at one point. Another thing too, to keep in mind, maybe this is what you're about to say, I don't know, but
We do this all the time, where she says everything that I'm thinking, and then I'm left here with like, okay, let me see what I can think of really quick.
but well, I'll just stick with one.
No, go ahead. Go.
One thing that to keep in mind is a lot of these guys, you already know why they're reaching out. So how do we gain control early on in the conversation is, well, they're reaching out to have their stuff moved. So if we leave it so open-ended, that's like, how can I help? The client doesn't really know. This was a direct call out. Like, he called her, she didn't call in, right? So this must have been a lead that came in that he was reaching out to. So he already knows why she's reaching out. She's reaching out to book a call because she's moving. So when we frame it that way of like, hey, I know you're reaching out because you want to move. What has us moving today? Let's start building the rapport first thing and taking control and starting with a question. Because if it's just like, how can I help? That's an open-ended question. And we want to start guiding them down a path. Because if we say, how can I help? We don't know if they're going to talk about the move. We don't know if they're going to talk about their family. We don't know if they're going to start talking about the 10 houses they looked at. We don't know what direction the client's going to take that in. So if we're really strategic about the questions that we do ask, then we know like what we're narrowing down that path. We're funneling down our sales process. So if we start the call off with introducing ourselves and saying, I know that you're reaching out about moving, we're gonna make sure that gets taken care of for you, but what has you moving today? And then you know, because then you get to be able to build that rapport with the client, and then you're leading it to where they're gonna say, I'm moving because I bought a house, I got engaged, I'm having a baby, and it gets us to be able to say, congratulations, that's so amazing that you have that going on, because then you're getting personal with the client and you build that rapport instantly in the beginning of the call, but you've also taken control of the call. Does that make sense? So write that down. What has you moving today? Or what has you inquiring about moving, however you want to word it, but what has you moving?
And all you're trying to do at this point is just get the customer to start talking about their situation. Basically to give you a few moments to kind of get your bearings for that phone call. When Andy teaches this in automotive sales, literally every phone call is the same. He gets them on the thing, he's like, hey, this is Andy with XYZ Motors. Really quick, my computer's rebooting. While that's happening, what's got you coming in for a car today? You know, whatever. And then his computer's not rebooting. That's just something that he worked into his process to slow the customer down and just get them kind of talking about their like specific situation. That way he can kind of visualize where he's at in the process, and then he can start like, because what information do you need right off the bat? You need their name, their phone number, their email, what addresses they're going to and from. So it kind of gives you a moment for them to just start talking, and then you kind of get your bearings right for like where this phone call is about to go, basically. I think that's a great question. What has you moving today? Because everyone's situation is different, you know, and then that gives them a chance to open up to you guys, and then y'all find whatever little piece you need to like connect with and start to build that rapport, and then use those nuggets to just like continue the conversation down. So.